All right, these are your videos on how to do your study guide. So you want to make sure you're filling out your study guide along with this. If you didn't pick up a study guide, then you can print one from the bottom of the screen. Your study guide is blank so that you can be filling it in at the same time as I'm doing this. All right, so this first question, the top of the first questions are matching. And I've already marked on your paper the key words and the 4 vocabulary words that you need to solve those. But on your test, of course, they're going to be matching. So number 5 says Brandon, Felix, and Peter participated in a school swimming competition and won the first 3 places. Peter is not the first place winner. The person in second place goes to the same class as Felix does and lives near Peter. Which student is in which place? Use yes or no table to help you answer the question. All right, so we're going to first put in that Peter is not first place because we already know that Peter was not the first place person. Because it says right here, Peter is not the first place winner. And so we put in no in his column. Now this is a logic table. So you have to use your logic and deductive reasoning skills to figure it out. The next sentence says the person in second place goes to the same class as Felix and lives near Peter. Okay, well, who cares who lives near who and who's in the same class, but what you have to look at is it mentions the other 2 people. Who's the only person left in our list besides Felix and Peter? And that would be Brandon. So Brandon must have been the second place winner. So we're going to come over here and write yes for Brandon. Okay. And then if we've put a yes, obviously all the other ones are no because only one person can win second place. So I put no. I write no after each yes. I'm using a new tablet here, guys, so hold up with me as I'm learning how to write things and how to erase. Now I see that I've got a no here and a no here, which means this blank has to be yes because somebody had to have won third place. And Peter has to have won something. So if Peter didn't win first and he didn't win second, well, he must have won third. Then, since I put yes here, I fill in no for Felix and no for Brandon because they couldn't have possibly won third place because Peter did. Well, then you also see that, oh look, Felix has 2 no's and Brandon already has a yes. So if Brandon won second, he couldn't have won first. And therefore Felix had to have won first. Okay? So this is what's called a logic puzzle. Okay? So which student is in which place? So then your answer is first is Felix. Second is Brandon. And third goes to Peter. Okay? Now, number 6. Use the profit data to make a table. Then use your table to find a pattern in the data and draw a conclusion. This is just like what we did in our homework assignment on Monday night. In October, profits totaled $8,000. In November, $10,000. Those are key things. Let's get out our highlighter. October was $8,000. November was $10,000. December was $20,000. January was $7,000 and February was $5,000. So we're going to make a table, and I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So I need 5 rows. So I'm going to make myself a table, and over here is going to be my months, and over here is going to be my profit. How do you know whether you should make rows or columns? Honestly, it really doesn't matter. It's up to you. It's just typically columns are a little bit easier to read since we all read from left to right. So then my months are going to be October, November, December, January, and February. And then we have 8,000, 10,000, 20,000, 7,000, and then 5,000. Okay. Now we need to find a pattern. Well, our pattern would be, well, we went up, then we went down, then we went down. And so, therefore, we peaked in December. This must be something for sales that are popular at the holiday time, because we made a whole lot of profit and then nothing after that. So, that would be our pattern and our conclusion, that profit went up and up and up between October and December, and then went dramatically down after December. Therefore, whatever we're selling or making or doing must be really popular at the holiday time and then not popular at all after December. Or maybe it's the fact that it's really popular in the fall and early winter, but when it gets too cold, it's not going to be popular anymore. Just depends on what we're doing. All right, let's go on to the next question. All right, find the mean of the data set. Remember, the mean is the average, so I'm going to add them all up. I'm going to do 18 plus 36 plus 24 plus 36 plus 30 plus 36. So I'm going to make these easier. I've got 36, 36, and 36. So that's going to give me 3 times 30 is 90. 3 times 6 is 18. So I get 18 and I get 108 equals 108. And then I have 24 and 18. 24 plus 30 is 54 plus the 18. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Carry my 1, 5, 6, and 7. Add that 72 to my 108. I get 8 and 2 are 10. Carry the 1. 7 and 1 are 8. And bring down my 1 and I get 180 is my sum. Now, I'm going to erase this so that I'm not covering up the next problem. So I have 180 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. I know 6 will go into 18 3 times. Add a 0 to the end. So my mean is 30. 2 ranchers were surveyed to find the number of cows and pigs and chickens in the on their ranches. The results of the survey are shown. Make a double bar graph to compare the data in the table. Double bar graph means you're going to have a graph, and then you're going to have cows, pigs, and chickens. And you're going to have a bar here and a bar next to it. And then you have a bar here and a bar next to it. And you have another bar and you have a bar next to it. And these bars stand for Double X Ranch and Silver Spurs Ranch. Double X Ranch, Silver Spurs Ranch. Double X Ranch, Silver Spurs Ranch. And you need to make sure you have a key. You need to make sure you label this axis, you label this axis, and you write a title. The answer is shown on your last page of your review, your study guide, and it has a bar graph already drawn for you. All right. Number 8 and number 9 are exactly the same problem. So let's go on to number 10. Okay. Here are the graphs for 8 and 9, so you can see what they look like. Remember, on a double bar graph, your bars actually touch each other for each of the items at the bottom, but all the bars do not touch. Scoot back up here to number 10. In a recent food study, 50 people were asked what fruit they like the best. How many people prefer grapes? Use the bar graph to answer the question. So grapes, all we care about are the grapes. So we're going to go right up here to the top of this bar. And we're going to see that 18 people like grapes. That's all you do. It's that easy. Find a set of 5 items that has a range of 9, a mean of 15, a median of 4, and a mode of 11. So now you've actually got to create the items. So we know that we are going to have 5 numbers. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I know the median is 14. That's my middle number. So right there, I know that number is 14. I know that it's going to have a mode of 11. So that means 11 needs to appear more than once. And if we're putting these numbers in order from least to greatest to make 14 the middle number, then 11 has to come before 14, and it better appear more than once. So that means these 2 blanks are 11. Okay? So I knew this was 14 because median means middle. I knew these 2 blanks were 11 because to find the middle, we have to put our numbers in order from least to greatest. And it said the mode was 11, which means it appears the most often. So I'm going to say it only appears twice because there are no more blanks before the number 14. Okay? Now the next, let's look at the range next, because I can find that next. The range is the difference between the biggest and the smallest. So I know the difference between the biggest and the smallest is 9. So 11 plus 9 equals 20. So I know that one's 20. Now I know the average of all of these is going to be 15. So I'm going to add them up. 11 plus 11 plus 14 plus 20. And I'm going to say, well, that's 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5 is 56. Okay. And whatever my total is, actually, I'm not going to add those up first. We'll leave that there for just a second. Before we add them up, we actually need to know what is the sum of all 5 of these numbers. But I don't know what this one is. Well, since the mean is 15, if I take 15 times 5, I get 75. That's the sum of all 5 numbers. I already know the sum of the first 4 is 56. So I'm going to do 75 minus 56, and I find out my difference is 19. So I know this number has to be 19, and that fits in our sequential order as well, because it had to be some number between 14 and 20. So then those are my 5 numbers, 11, 11, 14, 19, and 20. All right, number 12, Mr. Frederick teaches 4 math classes. Which class period has the most students? Use the bar graph to answer the questions. Well, there you go. 3rd period, it's the biggest bar. If you're looking for the most, biggest bar wins. So 3rd period. Alrighty. Let's move on to question 13. All right, question 13. Rachel decided to count the number of girls in 5 of her classes. The results are shown in the table. Use the data to make a bar graph. So you're going to make a bar graph. You'll put girls, or not girls down here, you're going to put classes. The reason why you put classes down here is the things on this bar are not numbers. The things on the vertical axis are going to be numbers. So I'm going to have all my numbers up here of girls. And then I'll have a bar for English, a bar for math, a bar for history, a bar for science, and a bar for gym. And it'll look something like that. But if you don't have any numbers and you don't have a title, it's not going to look right. Change your answer key so you know exactly what to do. All right, I'm going to stop that right there because this class period's over. So I'll be right back with the next video in part 2.